In the dead of night, plantation owners would wake up to a terrifying realization. Another group of enslaved people had vanished. No broken chains, no signs of struggle, just silence. And whispered through the South was one name: Harriet Tubman. Slave owners placed huge rewards on her head. Newspapers called her a criminal. Patrols hunted her across state lines. Because one woman kept returning to the South again and again, stealing people from slavery right under America's nose. She became known as Moses. And to slave owners, she was the most feared woman in America. Born into hell. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery around 1822 in Maryland. Her original name was Araminta Ross. From childhood, she experienced brutal violence. She was beaten, whipped, and forced into exhausting labor. One day, when she was still a young girl, an overseer threw a heavy metal weight at another enslaved person trying to escape. It struck Harriet in the head. The injury nearly killed her. For the rest of her life, she suffered seizures, blackouts, and visions. But the injury also changed something inside her. She later said she believed God was guiding her. Her escape. In 1849, Harriet learned she might be sold away from her family forever. So she made a decision that could get her killed. She escaped, traveling mostly at night. Harriet followed a secret network called the Underground Railroad. Hidden routes, safe houses, and abolitionists, helping enslaved people flee north. After weeks of danger, she reached freedom in Pennsylvania. But freedom alone was not enough for her. Harriet later said,
"I was free, but there was no one to welcome me to the land of freedom."
most people who escaped slavery never returned south. Harriet Tubman did the impossible. She went back. Again, and again, and again. Why she became the most feared woman in America. She kept stealing slaves. Over roughly a decade, Harriet Tubman secretly returned to the South around 13 times. Each mission could have ended in torture or execution. Armed with a pistol and extraordinary courage, she guided enslaved families through forests, swamps, rivers, and hidden trails. She rescued about 70 enslaved people directly, while helping many more escape through her networks. Slave owners were furious. Entire plantations would discover workers missing overnight. Rewards were offered for her capture. The South saw her as dangerous. Because Harriet Tubman represented something terrifying: hope. She proved slavery was not unstoppable. She outsmarted slave catchers. Harriet used disguises, coded songs, and secret routes. She traveled during the winter because longer nights gave better cover. She even changed escape plans at the last second to avoid ambushes. Tubman reportedly never lost a passenger on her rescue missions. That made her legendary. Enslaved people saw her as a savior. Slave owners saw her as a nightmare. She became a Union spy and soldier. During the American Civil War, Harriet worked for the Union Army. She served as a scout, nurse, spy, and military guide. In 1863, she helped lead the Combahee River Raid in South Carolina. Union forces destroyed Confederate supplies and freed more than 700 enslaved people. It made Harriet Tubman one of the first women in American history to help lead a military operation. The Confederacy hated her even more after that. After the war, after slavery ended, Harriet continued fighting for justice. She supported women's voting rights, cared for former enslaved people, and helped build a home for elderly African Americans in Auburn. She died in 1913, but her legend never disappeared. Today, Harriet Tubman is remembered not only as an abolitionist, but as one of the bravest freedom fighters in American history. Why this story matters: Harriet Tubman risked her life repeatedly for people she could have left behind. She faced armed patrols, slave hunters, and death every time she returned south, yet she kept going. To millions, she became a symbol of resistance against oppression. To slave owners, she was terrifying because she exposed the weakness of a brutal system. One woman with courage and determination was enough to shake an entire institution built on fear. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe and follow for more true stories like this.